Welcome to Loco Gringo, Mexico, where we can take you beyond the usual on your vacation. Each week we talk with amazing locals who know the Riviera Maya and Yucatan like only locals can. Get real tips to real places, insights on the local scene, culture, and cuisine from a local's perspective. So pour yourself a margarita, mezcal, or tequila, grab yourself a comfy chair, and let's get the show going.
Hola everybody, buenas tardes, buenos dias, depending on what time zone you are in. Welcome to Loco Gringo, Mexico. My name is Kay Walton. I am your host, and I am so thrilled to have you with us today. Well, we're going to be talking about food and wine. I think that's everybody's favorite thing, or most everyone's favorite things. And we're talking with Alejandro Espejo. And Alejandro, or Alex for short, Alex comes from Mexico City, and he's going to talk a little bit about his journey here in the Riviera Maya and some of the things he loves. And two of the things he loves is food and wine. And we're going to talk about some of his recommendations for wine, where you can get great wines while you're here. And Alex is going to also talk, his other passion is diving. So he's going to talk about a few of his favorite dive sites and some experiences he thinks you will love while you're coming here on vacation or traveling through the area. This episode is brought to you by Playa. You know, lots of people ask us for information and help when it comes to real estate, whether they're looking for retirement, an investment property, or maybe they're looking to relocate to the area. And we refer them over to our friends at Playa. The folks at Playa we've known for years, and they'll make sure that you, the buyer, are fully protected and informed when it comes to buying real estate. So if you're looking to buy a piece of paradise, check out our friends at buyplaya.com. Hey, Alex, how are you?
I'm good, Kay. Thank you for inviting me to the podcast.
Oh, man, I'm so excited to have you on the show. You just have such a great background. And the first thing, you know, it's a typical question I ask everybody who's on the show is, how did you end up here in the Riviera Maya, of all places you could be in the world? Because I know you're well-traveled, but why here?
Well, you know, actually I was born in Mexico City. When I was really small, about 2 years old, I moved to the Pacific coast in Mexico with my family in Cihuatanejo, which is a very small town. So I've been always near the ocean, you know, most part of my life. So then when I had to go to college, of course, I needed to move to Mexico City. So I moved to Mexico City, went to college, but I always missed, you know, the ocean. Like every vacation, holiday, I used to go to Ixtapa. But then one friend once told me, you know, you should change and let's go to Playa del Carmen for a holiday. So it was about 2004. We came to Playa for a holiday. Playa was still very small, and I completely fell in love with the place. You know, it's so different than the Pacific. I mean, the water here and Playa at that time was really, really small, and I completely loved it. So I changed my my holidays, and instead of going back to Ixtapa, I started coming to Playa like every, you know, Semana Santa or New Year's. So I remember then one Eastern, which is Semana Santa, I was with two of my friends at the last day of vacation in Playa. And I told him, you know, we need to do something to move here. We are almost finishing college, and we're young, so let's try to do something to move. So we went back to Mexico City. I just had finished college, and I started working. I'm an engineer in telecommunications. That's my major. I started working in Telmex, which is a big corporation, you know, with internet and phone lines. And you know, I was doing really well, but I always had my goal, like, to move to this area. So we started a plan. We said, okay, if we're moving, we need to move with something, right? Or to do something. So we decided first to come to Cancun. We thought it was easier to get a job or do something. And we actually opened an organic food store. That was around 2006. Yeah, the first organic store in Cancun was real small. We had lots of problems taking all the food and, you know, from different parts of Mexico to Cancun. And it was open for about 3 years. Then, we're three partners, and, what happens, we had difference. One of them decided to go back to Mexico City, and, I started exploring the area, and then I came to Akumal. I did my dive course in Akumal Dive Center, and I loved Akumal, so one time when we decided to just, sell the store, we sold it. And I was like, okay, I have two choices. Should I go back to Mexico City or to stay here? So I moved to Akumal. And, I moved to Akumal. I was there for about, 3 months doing nothing, just seeing what to do next. And then, I then got a job there or here. And then, it's been 10 years now, almost 10 years, and I'm more than happy to be living in Akumal.
Now, when you moved to Akumal full time here, did you work in the dive industry, or did you go and work for the big resorts? Because none of us live here. Nobody can live here for free, right? We try, but it just doesn't work that way.
No, my first job in Akumal was in the cyber coffee that was next to Loja. It's really small.
Okay. I remember that.
I worked for about 6 months. It's really, really nice, like working in front of the sea, just watching the tourists. It was really nice. Then I started working at a hotel in Akumal, the Palladium, which is a big one. And then, but I used to dive a lot, pretty much, that's how I got to Akumal.
And so in all of this time in Akumal, and you did a lot of diving. Now, did you strictly do ocean diving? Did you learn how to do cavern diving and cave diving and all?
Actually, I did first ocean. My teacher was Mauro, who's one of the best cave divers in the area. And then I took the open water with him, and then of course he took me to dive the cenotes, which I loved, And I've dived quite a few cenotes, and I love both. Ocean, I love Cozumel, which I think is really nice, one of the best dives in the area, and of course the cenotes, which are amazing.
Now, what are your favorite dive sites in Cozumel?
I would say Palancar. I really loved it. We did a night dive in Cozumel, which was beautiful. I don't remember exactly the place. I think it was Cielo. I didn't remember exactly, but I love night dives. I think that if you have never experienced a night dive, you should someone do it, because it's a completely different experience than diving during the day.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different animals or marine life that you get to see at night that you wouldn't see at the day, like octopus and things.
Yeah. About in December we did one in Akumal. It was beautiful, octopus, lobsters, huge crabs. I loved it. Really, really nice.
Have you ever been involved with the lionfish hunting that they've had in the area over the years?
I've never been to lionfish country. One friend of mine got stung one day with a lionfish, and we ended up in the hospital. So I'm really, I don't know. I don't want to, have that.
Yeah, I know they're dangerous in the water, but I hear they're very tasty once they come on land. And I know that there's some of the restaurants have done some great lionfish tacos and everything with them. Gina
had a restaurant in Akumal. I tried the lionfish tacos. They're really tasty, actually.
Yeah, I've never had them, and I'm also not going to go. I'm also not going to go hunting for them.
No, dangerous.
And me and marine life do not do real well together. So I'd be one of those people that probably ended up in the hospital after getting stung from one of those lionfish.
Me too. So I just rather, just dive and watch the scenery.
Yeah, they're very beautiful. Just certainly very beautiful to see. So do you spend most of your time diving now? What are some of the passions that you've got? I know, you're busy now that you've joined our team here at Loco Gringo, but what do you do on the weekends and your time off? What are the things that really hold your heart here on the coast?
Okay. Well, I do some diving, not as much as I used to. I'm planning dive soon to Banco Chinchorro, which they told me that's amazing. It's near Mahawal. And I love food, wine. I like to go to different places when they open a restaurant in Playa or now in Tulum. That's got a huge dining or gastronomic scene. I like to go to try different places, I like to party once in a while, to go to the full moon parties too. It depends on the weekend, but yeah, basically, I like to go to restaurants and try different food.
So that leads me to a couple questions. First question is, some of your favorite hotspot restaurants that you find to be, really exceptional these days, or that you just absolutely enjoy and would recommend to other people?
Well, I think Tulum lately has got great restaurant openings. Umo Tulum, it's downtown. It's vegan, organic. It's amazing. Beso Tulum, it's also really nice. Arca, which was featured in one of the best 10 restaurants that opened the past years in the Forbes magazine worldwide.
It's one of my favorites. Yep.
Loco Tulum recently opened. It's really nice. Kitchen Table, it's amazing too. And it's great. I mean, they keep opening restaurants like every month, and now they're doing really, really nice things in Tulum. Playa too got a couple openings. Sushi bar called Soma, which I think it's the best sushi in Playa now. And if you want to try Mexican food, Numero 20, which opened like about 2 years ago, I think is a great ambience. And the food is great too.
And would you say at Numero 20 or Numero 20, is that when we talk about Mexican food? I mean, a lot of times here we have Yucatecan style, and we know there's a Mayan flair to dishes. Do you find here at Numero 20 that they have more like Mexico City, more central Mexico style food?
They have pretty much like Mexican food from different regions,
Yeah.
They have the escamoles, which is like the larva of the ants. They got chapulines, the grasshoppers, which I like encouraging everybody has never tried them to do. They're super tasty, and it's not something that you eat like every day, So
I would think not. And the little grasshoppers, those are more of like a snack that you would eat, like if you were drinking a tequila, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, they serve it with guacamole. You just can do a guacamole taco, just little grasshoppers, have a sip of tequila, and then with taco. Super tasty. And the ant, how do you call it? Eggs of the ants, or those are fried. A delicacy. They're quite expensive, like, I don't know, $25 for a little.
Really?
Oh, yeah, but they're super, super tasty.
I might have to try them. I've had dried ants, like the little bodies. I think I'm going to have to put this on my adventuresome list, but I think it's going to take me a tequila or two before I could before I muster up the courage to try them. So, Alex, the one thing that I have to ask you about is your love of wine.
Yeah, I love wine. When I was younger, my mom is also a wine lover. So when I was younger, she always encouraged me to try like all kind of different wines, like whites, rosés, sparkling, red. So I became really interested in wine. So actually, I took a 1 year sommelier course where you learn everything from how the wines are produced, different grape varieties, the pairing with food, everything about wines. So I really love wines. So I love to go to wine stores in Playa. Could stay there for an hour, just reading all the labels, trying to pick, ones that are unique. Yeah, and I really love wines.
Well, can you make some recommendations? Because I know a lot of people, when coming from the U.S. and even Canada, and a lot of people are just, they're looking for the California wines that they're accustomed to, because they're so plentiful a lot in the States and Canada, and they come to Mexico, and there's not a lot of Californians to be readily found. But do you have recommendations of wines that people can find that are reasonably priced too? I mean, we don't necessarily need to do the $2 chuck type thing, the bottom of the barrel, so to speak, but wines that people could enjoy if they're down here on vacation.
Sure, so absolutely. Mexico produces excellent wines in Baja, and some of them are really reasonable priced. I would recommend, depending on what you're eating, but like for the weather in this area and mostly seafood and Mexican food that's a little bit spicy, I would recommend a rosé, a dry rosé. I think that it goes perfect with this kind of food and weather. One of my favorites, which is about 150 pesos a bottle, it's a ST rosé. You can find that in La Europea or even in Chedraui supermarket. It's an excellent rosé. Another one would be the Calicia. It's a Montechanic. It's a little bit more expensive. That's a Grenache rosé. It's also really, really nice. And if you want to go with some whites, Mexican whites, I would choose a Sauvignon Blanc. I think it's a great variety that best, how do you say, produces the best white wines in Mexico. My favorites are from a winery called El Cielo. It's really nice Sauvignon Blanc. And also Montechanic has a really, really good Sauvignon Blanc called Viña Cristel, which you can find easily in any restaurant or at supermarket.
Very nice. And I will... Go ahead.
Yeah. And if you want to do red wines, I'd rather go with a light red, that Mexico produces very good Grenache red wines, and some Merlot, which are really good. Also, Santo Tomas, it's one of the wineries that produce more solid wines in Mexico. There are more other boutique wineries where you can find in specialized shops such as La Europea. Those wines are a little bit more expensive, but they're also excellent wines.
That's great information. Now, where is, and this is, I know people ask us all the time when they're coming down, where is the best place to go and buy wine? I mean, yeah, Chedraui has a lot, but I mean, where do you go to buy wine, or places that you could recommend people go and they're gonna find something great to drink there that hasn't been sitting in the sun, or
Okay, the best wine store is in Playa. It's called La Europea. They have huge selection. The prices are, I mean, really, really fair, It's in La Quinta Alegría Mall. That's on Constituyentes and Avenue. That's great. You can find wines from all over the world, a huge Mexican selection. And also there's a small store in Calle Uno called Off the Vine. That's Calle Uno and the 30th near Mamita. And they already also open a store in Tulum, the hotel zone of the Vine.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So now you can find good wines in Tulum hotel zone too. And also in Chedraui, Portaventura, there's a sommelier that works there. So you can just ask for the sommelier and ask him. Yeah. and asking for recommendations. And he's really good.
And I have to apologize to our listeners. We talk about Chedraui. Chedraui is the name of the grocery store. We talk so casually about Chedraui and stuff, and I forget that people may not know that Chedraui is a grocery store chain, just like you would have Publix or Kroger up in the States, or places like that. We have Chedraui here.
One in Tulum and one in Portaventura, is the closest to Akumal.
Yeah, and then there's also, I think, people who are having parties or want to stock up. They could find some Mexican wines, perhaps not necessarily some of your favorites, but they may be able to find some decent wines from Mexico in Sam's Club, right?
Yeah, Sam's Club, Walmart too,
Walmart,
and Soriana.
Which is another grocery store.
It's another grocery store, yeah.
In Centro Maya, in Playa del Carmen.
Yes.
That's great, because I think it's one of those things. A lot of people can find wine. There's places that sell wine all over where people live at home, but here we kind of have to go a little bit to find really what we want. We kind of have to look a little harder than just drive around the corner.
Yeah, and the storage is really important. Here with the weather, if you leave a wine just in without air condition or properly stored, it goes bad in about 6 months, and it will gonna taste really bad. So you have to really be careful where you get your wines, and also the year the wine is. Wines, good wines, you can store them for many years, but like the young and cheapest wines are not made to be stored. So always try to buy a wine that's at least from 2 years maximum from the you're buying it. Like right now, you want to buy a white or a rosé wine, don't buy anything that's older than 214.
Sorry, I didn't mean to sneeze there.
Yeah.
And that was, I'm sorry, it would be 2014?
Yeah, I mean, for a rosé or for white wines that are made to be drinking right away, if you just, those are wines that are not made to be stored. So some of the stores here just leave them there in the shelves. They never move. And then you go and buy a rosé wine from 2010, and it's already not in good condition. So always try to find or to buy the newest. The
newest.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
For older wines, reds and all that, I mean, that you can also go older. But those are wines that are made to be stored. So, yeah, that's the difference.
Well, maybe we'll have to. We might have to plan. We'll have to plan maybe a little office wine tasting some Friday afternoon, and we'll maybe try to. You can teach us all a little bit of something on how to pair some wines up with some food.
I'd love to. We could pick, maybe 4 or 5 wines, and we can talk about each wine. I would love to. Let's do it.
Yeah, we said we could do. We'll shoot a video too, and we'll put it on the blog. But yeah, that would be super fun, and I think it's I think a lot of people like wine, but they aren't necessarily adventuresome. I mean, I know I drink the same type of wine all the time because I know when I'm making that investment on that bottle that I'm going to like it. So I get nervous trying new things because you'd hate to think that you've wasted money.
That's true. Yeah.
So we've got some restaurants. We've got some great wine recommendations and everything. So I have to ask, aside from diving, what are some of your other fun things you do? Or you said you go out, for some nightlife and that. Recommendations on nightlife.
Okay, for nightlife, in Tulum, once a month on full moon, there's a party, which I think is the best party in the area. It's called the Full Moon Party in Papaya Playa. It's once a month, Saturday, when the full moon is So this weekend is gonna be that great party. It's right in the ocean. So beautiful.
What time does that kind of start? Is that like show? It starts at midnight type thing, or
10 p.m. and ends at 4 a.m. So it gets really busy. So arrive early, otherwise you won't be able to go in. There's also a new beach club they opened in Tulum called BOA. BOA, and they're doing parties every Sunday, from 12 p.m. until 10 p.m. So it's a beautiful place. It's a little private bay. So you're dancing on the sand, watching the sunset. It's beautiful. Every Sunday in Tulum Hotel Zone. I would say that are the two best places right now to party. Playa has been lately, with all these changes. I don't think there's really a nice night spot. I mean, there's Coco Bongo, which been there for forever, and Mandala. But I think that those are, the same things that we are used to. So if you want to try something different, something really nice, go to Tulum to these two parties.
I have to ask. I've never been to Coco Bongo. What is it? And I'm sure there's some of our listeners who go, well, I've seen billboards. Some people have seen billboards along the highway and that. What is Coco Bongo?
Coco Bongo is a show. It's a show. So you go there, you see different acts, Madonna, Michael Jackson. Then they do a Spider-Man show, like a kind of circus. Then they'll do, Star Wars, like different shows. People are dancing, drinking. So it's like a mix of a nightclub and a show,
Okay.
You're dancing while you see Michael Jackson, and it changes, and it's nice, but once you go one time, like every time it's the same thing. So.
No, it's okay. The beach club, the beach party is a little bit more my scene. But I always had curious, and people ask, and so I thought, since you knew, it'd be a good little inside information there.
Yeah, I mean, Kokomo is fun. I've been a couple of times, and every time I really have fun, and maybe something like everybody has to do once in your lifetime, but like one time thing, not like to go every weekend.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So as we look at a lot of these fun things, you've got, going down to the beach to dance in the moonlight, which is magical. Party or no, take a radio down and just, or some music and dance on the beach in the moonlight is always fun. More fun if definitely to go down to Tulum for sure. But what recommendations would you have for people who are visiting to the area to have a more authentic experience? And I know we just, and I say this as quite a contrast when we talk about something like Coco Bongo, which is a show and very showy. But what are some of the things that people really shouldn't miss to have that authentic Mexico experience?
Well, I will suggest, like try to go like maybe one day of your vacation to see something authentic in Mexico. Maybe go to Valladolid, which is like a more traditional town with a beautiful market that we don't have anymore here in Playa or in Tulum, which are new cities, So Valladolid's a nice experience. So the market's great there, so you can try different things, different food. I would say that's really nice. And I will also tell people that visit here to try to do something unique that they will never forget. Like, I don't know, maybe skydive in Playa. There's a skydiving place, or dive for the first time, or maybe go to the Siancan Reserve to see the stars. Stay in a hotel one night there. There's no light, so the stars are just beautiful. Like try to find something that you'll never forget.
Yeah, that's experience oriented.
Yeah, like experience, whatever. I mean, there are many, many things to do here. Just try to, go online, Google it, and there are many, many things to hear.
Well, that's awesome. And for everyone who doesn't know, Alex is one of our most recent team members here at Loco Gringo. So that will lead me to, Alex, how can people contact you if they have questions or want some information on some of these great places that you've mentioned, or they're looking for a recommendation on some wine, of course?
Oh, sure. You can find me on Facebook, Alejandro Espejo. That's just type Alejandro Espejo Akumal. You find me right there. Or my email address is alespejo@gmail.com. You can send me an email, And I'm thinking about starting a blog about restaurants and things to do here in the area. So as soon as I have that ready, I'll let you know so we can post it so people can go there and just, see my reviews of different places.
Well, that's great. And for everybody listening, we'll have links over to Alex's Facebook page, his email address, so that if you have any questions, you can reach out to him. We'll also have links to some of the places that he's mentioned here and the names of or his suggestions on wine and wine stores. So we'll have all that on today's show notes. Alex, this has been great. I'm really thrilled that you got to sneak away for a little bit today to chat with us.
Oh, thank you, Kay, for inviting me. And yeah, let's do the wine
the wine tasting.
Yeah.
Okay, you got it. We'll do it soon. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Well, are you inspired now to move down here? Do you want to move down here and have a little place of your own? Well, then you need to talk to our friends at Playa. They have a friendly and knowledgeable international staff. They speak lots of languages, and they are known as being a buyer's agent. Well, what does that mean? That means they are only going to show you and sell you properties they know that have escrituras. An escritura is a title. And it's part of their due diligence to make sure the title is clear, there's no liens, and that the person who's selling the property is actually the owner. Playa works with lawyers that specialize in fideicomisos, which is a Mexican trust. You may have heard of it already before. And they can address things such as capital gains problems immediately and right up front, so that you have no surprises along the way to closing. So contact our friends at Playa at buyplaya.com. Well, thanks for tuning in today, everybody. But before you take off, just a reminder that today's show notes can be found at locogringo.com/podcasts. And if you don't know, Loco Gringo publishes fresh content 3 to 4 times a week on our blog. And so just go to our homepage, locogringo.com, and on top, you're going to see blog. Click on it, and you are going to find everything you need for your getaway. Loco Gringo knows a lot of information about the Riviera Maya and Yucatan, and we want to make sure that you have all the information you need to have the best vacation ever. We love the Riviera Maya and Yucatan, and we think you should too.
Thanks for listening. If you like the show, be sure to subscribe. For links, show notes, and more information, head on over to locogringo.com or give us a call toll-free at 800-478-0081.
Porque se tragó la luna, estaba enferma la rana. Su madre soba que soba, dedos de pluma la panza. Pensó ranita que luna era una toronja blanca. Y aunque la luna es de leche, la leche estaba cortada. Croa, croa, dedos de pluma. Croa, croa, dedos de agua. Croa, croa, dedos de pluma.